Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today in this video we are going to learn about the different polysaccharides, how different polysaccharides play an important role in the living organisms, in plants or in animals or any other living organism like the fungi as well. So as we have discussed in the previous video of carbohydrates, that how what is the difference between alpha glucose and beta glucose, what are different monomers and polymers, we are going to learn now. We have learned the formation of glycosidic bond and the breaking of glycosidic bond. Now we are going to discuss the structure of different polysaccharides. Let's start with starch and glycogen. These are basically the storing molecules of our body. So polysaccharides are polymers that are formed from many monosaccharides. As the name indicate, polymer, poly already means many. They can be branched, they can be unbranched, and they can be folded. So we'll learn what type of polysaccharides would be branched, what type would be unbranched, or and what type would be folded or straight or coiled. So these are two, for example, amylose and amylopectin. So this one is a straight one. There is no branching in this one. This one is unbranched. And this amylopectin is actually branched because look over here, we have a bond as carbon number 1 and carbon number 6. So here we have bond at carbon number 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So whenever there is unbranched one, there is bonding between the carbon number 1 and carbon number 4. While in branched one, there will be bonding with between carbon number 1 and carbon number 6. That actually makes it branched. Let's go into the detail of each one of these. So what is amylose? Amylose is basically a helix shaped chain, and here we have a glycosidic bond formed between the carbon number 1 and carbon number 4, and basically alpha glucose. The helix shape actually help it to be more compact and resistant to digestion. So whenever we, for example, we are eating starch, so when we eat starch, that cannot be broken that much easily. First of all, it has to be converted into oligosaccharide or disaccharide, and then it converts into monosaccharide. So it gives it a compact form that is coiled around each other, and we'll learn later that there would be hydrogen bonds present as well. So in amylopectin, that is 70 to 90% starch. There are two type of bonds, one between the 1 and 4th carbon, the other one is at carbon number 1 and 6. So this gives it a branched shape, or you can say appearance. The branch result in many terminal glucose molecule that can be easily hydrolyzed for use during cellular respiration or added to for storage. This is the structure of amylopectin. Now the glycogen. Glycogen is the storage molecule in animals, in fungi, but not in plants. In plants, it is stored as starch. You need to understand this. So in animals, it is basically stored in muscles. So we have hormone that converts the glucose into glycogen, and you have to name that hormone in the comments, please. So we have to produce by our pancreas. So I'm giving you a hint. You can just tell what type of molecule is present. So when we talk about glycogen, it's a basically store. It's a storage molecule as a polysaccharide in animals and in fungi, but not in plants, because plants store carbohydrates in the form of starch. So when we learn about this glycogen, we have an enzyme, or sorry, a hormone in our body that converts the extra glucose into the glycogen that is stored in our muscles. You have to name that hormone in the comments, please. Oh, I'm giving you a hint. It's with insulin. It works antagonistically to insulin. So I guess you can name it now. So it is basically highly branched and not coiled. So when it is more branched, it has a myelopectin type of structure, and it makes it quite compact and easy to store in muscles especially. So it has a non-reducing end and it has a reducing end. So more or more units can be added in it so that a bigger molecule can be formed and extra glucose can be stored. The branching enable more free ends where glucose molecules can either be added or removed, allowing for condensation and hydrolysis. Thus, the storage or release of glucose can suit the demand of cell, whatever type of structure needs to be formed. Then cellulose. Cellulose is the most important one in the uh, plants because it gives the basic strength to this plant cell. So it's a polymer, or it's an unbranched polymer. We can say it's a long chain that is formed by beta glucose by 1,4 glycosidic bond. A beta glucose is an isomer of alpha glucose, and I've explained the difference in the previous video as well. That whenever we talk about alpha 1, the hydroxyl group is present below the carbon, while in beta glucose, it is present above the carbon. So this is how it is formed. One is below, one is above, one is below, one is above. So you need to remember this one. One is below and one is above. Now there is an additional bond present over here, that is actually the hydrogen bond. So we have learned in chemistry as well that hydrogen bond is a very strong bond when present in large number, and they give it good strength, or you can say it strengthen it more. Though these glycosidic bonds are strong enough, but an extra, you can say, strength is given by these hydrogen bonds. So it makes it quite strong, or you can say quite hard structure to be more suitable for its function. Sorry. Due to inversion of beta glucose, many hydrogen bonds form from the long chains, giving cellulose its strength. Now, this is cell wall. Cell wall has many, you can say, the cross linkages, or you can say cross linkage structure, which gives it strength. So these green one are the cellulose one, these yellow one are the hemicellulose, while this silver one is the lignin. Now lignin is a material that gives strength mainly in xylem. You must have learned in xylem as well, because xylem, sometimes xylem also needs strength to stay strong and to so it's a structural component of cell wall. Due to hydrogen bonds, the strength is so much that it can serve its purpose. The high tensile strength is present. It allows it to be stretched without breaking, which make it possible for cell wall to withstand the turgor pressure. So what is turgor pressure? Whenever vacuole have more water, the size expand, but actually the cell wall, it doesn't allow it to expand beyond the limit, though it becomes turgid, but it won't explode. But in case of animal cell, that can explode because no cell wall is present. So cellulose fibers and other molecules, for example lignin, found in the cell wall, and they will also increase the strength of the cell wall. It is freely permeable. It allows water and solute to leave or enter the cell surface membrane. So this is all for this video. Stay tuned and stay connected for the other topics as well. So we'll discuss the other topics in the other videos. Go and check out those videos as well.